We have our lovely guest. Would you like to introduce our lovely guest?
Yeah. She. Oh, yeah. Here you are.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. She's a very nice person, and she's part of this group of tradition of Tezcatlipoca. That is very interesting group because not everybody can be in that group. Have to be special people and really have a commitment, yeah, to be in this group and be disciplined. Yeah, is what I admire from this group. Yeah, because it's a lot of things that they are working with. They are very disciplined. They make the forms that we, with a lot of respect, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome,
Oh,
welcome.
oh,
Okay.
yeah, it was a welcome that just went over the screen.
are-
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Do you hear me okay?
Yes.
Maybe just a bit of an increase in volume.
Okay. Well, I'm honored to be here. Thank you very much for your invitation.
Oh, bless you. Thank you for coming on. I'm really excited to have you on. I'm going to pronounce your name as Xiuh. Is that
Yes.
right? Xiuh?
Xiuh Atl.
Xiuh.
Xiuh Atl. That's right.
Beautiful name. And it means fire and water. Is that correct?
Xiuh, it's the brilliance, like shining. It's like shiny water.
Shiny water. So shiny water could be fire water. That's very special.
That's right. It's also the sound that fire and water make when they mix. Which is Nahuatl. It's a very descriptive language. It describes what you can hear and what you can see. So it's a language that you can see all around.
Wow. So do you speak Nahuatl?
I speak some words. I'm not it's not my first language. My first language is Spanish, and I'm located in Mexico City.
Wonderful. It's so wonderful to have you on this evening because I really feel the vibration of Tezcatlipoca.
Yeah,
I feel it.
Well, it's a very strong vibration. Tezcatlipoca, the meaning, it's a black smoky mirror. And it's the tradition that it's in search of consciousness and the development of consciousness. And in order to develop consciousness, you have to be able to see yourself. So it's very important to see yourself in the mirror. So that's one of the meanings of the name of our tradition.
So in a time where people generally don't want to look at themselves, a lot of people out there, they don't want to look at what's going on the inside. They're distracted by life. Now, what I would like to ask you is, could you share some wisdom with our listeners from the past, from the present, from the future, anyone that listens again to this broadcast? Could you share the principles of Tezcatlipoca? Thank you.
Of course. I would like to share just a little history. Tezcatlipoca tradition is a very, very ancient tradition from the Nahua people, or better known as the Aztecs, that used to be in the territory from Nicaragua to Alaska, which is all Central and North America. This tradition, when the conquest happened and the Spaniards won the war, they made a decision in the Tezcatlipoca tradition to save the knowledge and to take care of the knowledge as a treasure. They said, well, we have to hid our treasures. The Spaniards misinterpreted that, thinking they were talking about gold, but they were talking about the knowledge. So they decided, inside the Tezcatlipoca tradition, decided to hold on to the knowledge in the private area of the society. This is within families. So there are 20 families in the area that were that had the purpose to take care of the knowledge. And this was hidden and just taught within families in a private way for 468 years. That's from 1521 to 1989. In 1989, the Tezcatlipoca tradition decides to open again the knowledge to the public area or the public part of society, not just to hold it within families. That year, since that year, everybody's welcome to learn the Tezcatlipoca ways and the Tezcatlipoca knowledge. That was 31 years ago, 1989. I've been near the Tezcatlipoca tradition for 20 years now. I was not born inside the tradition. I was not born within the families. I'm Mexican, but I'm not part of the traditions because of my family. I decided to learn, and I was decided to approach to the tradition to learn. Well, this is a tradition, as I already said, to create consciousness and to look at yourself. And you are very certain when you said we have many distractions now, and the biggest battle we all have is within ourselves. We have to see ourselves in order to grow, in order to deal what we have to deal. We are our best friends and we are our worst enemies. It's everything inside.
Yeah.
So the Tezcatlipoca tradition gives us lots of tools to manage with life.
Fascinating. Now, I am particularly interested in how does a Western person identify with their own personal Tezcatlipoca?
We have had many workshops in different parts of the world and people coming here to learn. As Rocio said at first, it requires lots of discipline and courage. You have to be disciplined and you have to have the courage to see yourself. Because learning in the tradition is a very complete way of learning. It's not just, it's not possible just to learn one technique or one thing because you're approaching to a very different culture. So you have to learn lots of things. You have to learn about the calendar, the way they see life. And also you have to deal with all the misinterpretations that have happened in history. Mm-hmm. For instance, Aztec tradition is very related in the minds of the people to sacrifices, to having many gods, which are both not true. Mm-hmm. In the Tezcatlipoca tradition, there are no gods. You can see lots of images in the codex, but those are very complicated and fascinating ways to represent human life and mm-hmm. to represent the world. So if you see Quetzalcoatl is not a god. It's a way to represent the natural cycles of life. And that's one of at least 22 energies. So the misinterpretation is when the Western people try to interpret, they interpret from what they know. So they interpret those as gods. Well, they're not gods. They're energies of life and energies of what we deal as humans. Some could be natural cycles, instinct, willpower, consciousness, wisdom, and they're represented as a human image, but they're not gods. So, since they are not gods, it was not possible to be in sacrifices. We had no sacrifices in ancient history. As all cultures, there was war. And what was misinterpreted as sacrifices might be war prisoners being sacrificed, but not to a god. It's like more like a punishment or the way to deal with war, which all cultures did. So this is like big misunderstandings that first you have to deal with. And in order to put that away and learn about the culture, you have to learn a lot. You have to learn how the calendar was used. You have to learn how all the energies are understood. So it's a lifetime learning. It's a lifetime learning. But it has very, very useful tools to deal with life, in my experience.
Beautiful, beautifully put. I can think of the Tezcatlipoca image, the symbol in the codex.
Oh yeah, that's it has I don't know how to say in English, antifaz. Do you know how to say?
Mask, like a mask?
Like a mask in the eyes. It's like the eyes have a mask and it has no leg. It has a mirror instead of a leg. And also there's another Tezcatlipoca image, which is Yayauki, that has also the 20 energies of the days of the calendar, of the Aztec calendars, located in the human body. And those are centers of energy you can locate in the human body if you study the codex with a good teacher. And if you have a good guidance, you can learn lots of things in the codex. And
I'm fascinated by it, actually, personally fascinated by it, because it does give you an indication of who you are, what your potentials are, and what you should be doing. So when you combine that with looking at the deepest, darkest parts of yourself, magic is going to happen. Hello, I'd like to welcome I haven't got my glasses on.
Tezca.
Tezca.
Hello,
Tezca. How are you?
Welcome.
Beautiful.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. You were saying.
Yeah. So it was this. It's this. I find it very interesting how these teachings are now, since 1989. Did you say?
That's right.
1989 are permitted to come out of the culture. And it's safe enough to do so. It's beautiful. So what type of tools can you recommend to Western women that maybe don't have a practice? Because I believe this calendar is relevant to every single living being on the planet.
That's right. It applies to every human being. This is a tradition that's very pragmatic. It's like a science. It's based on observation and proof of proven error. And since it's been a very, very ancient tradition, it has been very proved, and it applies to every human being. There's people from different parts of the world that have approach to the tradition. Of course, it takes lots of compromise and time to learn all the background of the tradition, but there sure are tools that somebody could use. What I would recommend, there is a meditation that is very useful, which is you can use any kind of mirror. Usually we use a mirror made of obsidian, which is a black mirror. Any kind of mirror. And you can place the mirror in front of you, and then you place a candle, and then there's yourself. In order so you can see the candle and your face reflected in the mirror, and then made a meditation for at least 9 minutes. But if you can do longer, it's better. And that's a meditation to start looking at yourself.
Right. And what is the relevance of 9 minutes?
Well, the numbers are very important in the tradition. Each number has a meaning, from 1 to 13. But the number 9 is the transformation. So it's we are beings that are in constant movement. Movement is part of our natural way of being. It's not possible to stand still. We always have movement in our lives. So it's good to be familiar with the energy of transformation, for that makes it easy for you to go through life. So 9 minutes, it's because 9 is the number related to transformation.
I'm very pleased when you say that because I'm a number 9.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just so funny how I've only just discovered this.
That's
but
good.
Everything has, it's absolutely mind-blowing how everything is so accurate from the moment of birth to the lesson, who feeds me, who put me here, what are the influences, the willpower, the whole thing really fascinates me, because I was getting to the feeling that, the time calendar with the 20 Tezcatlipoca energy centers, all work in a certain way together to unlock certain things within each soul.
That's right. They all influence. And it's very interesting because in the Tezcatlipoca tradition and in all the Mesoamerican Nahua tradition, also Maya, we use 2 calendars, which are 2 different calendars. One is the solar calendar, and one is called Tonalamatu. And they work together, and they can, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a machine. You have one machine rotating here and other here, and they go together and come to the same exact moment 52 years later. Every 52 years, there's a big cycle where the 2 calendars go together again and start all over, moving. So one calendar gives you the number of your birth or the number of a date, and the other calendar gives you the energy. For instance, me and also Atesca, we are both born in a day 3 and in a day Atl. But the number is given by one of the calendars, and the energy is given by the other calendar. And they are exactly at the same point as they were when you were born at 52. So in the tradition, they say you are a grown up when you're 52. Before that, you're not a grown up. You're just a teenager.
Wow.
So what they say, that they are people that live for a long time, and they say if you live 104 years, you do 2 complete cycles, and that's what you want to achieve.
Right, so 104.
52 years, right?
Yeah, 52 cycles of 52 years. That would be somebody that lives 104 years.
Wow, very interesting.
I'll go for that. I'll try that. I'll transform myself to 104.
We need to take care of ourselves.
That's right.
Right.
We need to, so that just makes an awful lot of sense. If you take care of your inner being, your inner conscience, you listen, you pay attention, you do positive things to help know yourself, then there's no reason why we should not live to 104.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Big part of what we learn in the tradition is a lot of everyday habits. And this is sometimes difficult when you have not learned this habit since you were a kid. To learn different habits as a grown up, it's not easy, but you can do it. And those are very important to be well. This is breathing, sleeping, drinking water, and eating. So those are 4 basic ways to keep yourself healthy. There is a system we use in the tradition, that's the Nawi Olin Teotu. Nawi meaning 4, Olin meaning movement, and Teot meaning energy. This is the movement of the 4 energies. And it's a system to teach, to learn, and to organize information and to organize your mind. So everything you can divide in 4, but it's not 4 exactly the same. It's 4 with different proportions. So you have 52%, 26%, 13%, and 9%. And for instance, talking again about habits, 52% of your energy to keep yourself in a good condition is breathing. And 9% is eating. You don't have to eat all day, but you have to breathe every moment. And you can learn how to breathe well. We can breathe. We do it naturally. But there's also techniques that you can learn for how to breathe well. And you cannot live without breathing. So 52% of maintaining you in a good shape, in a good condition, your life, and taking care of your life is taking care of your breathing. Then the 26 is taking care of your sleeping and rest. The same thing. We eat sometimes of the day, but we have to sleep many hours in order to be well. Then the 13% is hydration. Water is very important. And hydration is not any kind of liquid. It says 52% of the hydration must be pure water. And then you can have juice, you can have broth, you can have other liquids. But the main thing is pure water. And then the 9% is the food, to have a good way of eating. And these you can also divide again. For instance, I have 52% is my breathing. I can divide my techniques of breathing. Then 26% is my sleeping. I can divide the way I sleep. I can sleep with my head up, with my head down, one side, other side. Those are 4 ways of sleeping. The 52, or the more important or indispensable, is to sleep face up. That makes me recover in less time. And hydration. You can divide hydration again. You have 52% pure water, 26% vegetable juices, 13% fruit juices, and 9% broth, like when you cook something, like with soup. Again, food. I have food. I can divide again. In food, I have 52% of a grain. It depends where you are in the world. If you are talking about Asia, that grain is rice. If you're talking about Europe, it's probably wheat. But in our case, it's corn. Also, you can always divide again. Corn, I can divide in colors. I have 5 different colors of corn. So it's a system that is very simple, and for being that simple gets complicated. But because you have to simplify your mind. But it's very, very good system, because you can always go deeper. Because you can say very simple. I have the Nawiolin of habits. It's breathing, sleeping, hydrating, and eating. But then each one of those I can divide again. And each one of those I can divide again and again and again. So you get to be very meticulous when you study this in a very deep way, which is very interesting, because it's a system that can also be used for whatever you want to do. You can say these 4 areas of the Nawiolin related with words. The 52% is the indispensable. Breathing is indispensable. If you don't breathe, you die. Then the 26% is necessary. If you don't sleep, you start getting confused in your mind. It's necessary to sleep. Then 13% is the desirable to have a good hydration. And the 9% is excellent. It's excellent to have good food. So it's indispensable, necessary, desirable, and excellent. You can use this system for whatever you want to develop. I'm gonna make up something. I want to study in China, but I live in Mexico City. What's indispensable? In this world right now, where I live right now, it's indispensable to have money. I cannot go to China if I have no money. So I have to have savings or good work or a work where I'm heading to. Then what's necessary? In this world where I live right now, it's necessary to have, probably to be paperwork. I need to have a passport, a visa, all my paper in order. Otherwise, I won't be traveling. Then desirable. Desirable is to have a project which I'm heading to. It said I'm going to study Chinese, or I'm going to study Chinese medicine, or whatever is my project to go there. And maybe excellent would be I have very good friends that already live there. That's excellent. It's not indispensable, but it's excellent. So I just made this up right now, but just to show you that it's a system that you can apply to many, many things. You have to think, if I have to do something, what's indispensable for me to do it? If you have the indispensable, you have more than half, because indispensable is 52%. So that gives you half the way. Then you have to really think what else you need to accomplish something. So it's an interesting system.
It is absolutely interesting because, right, you're getting me very happy here because I'm going, oh, all these ways I could apply these mathematical principles to my life in every single area, from food. I'll just do that. Just do the maths and everything else will take care of itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can say, okay, I need a basic for food. My basic is corn. If I have tortillas and I have tamales and I have all kinds of corn in my country, I have more than half. Then I have to see what's growing in this time of year. What vegetables are growing in this time of year? Those are going to be the best ones, the fresher ones and the nicest ones and the more flavory ones. So then I have my vegetables and my fruits. What fruits are growing up here in my area in this season? Those are the best fruits for me. And then it's just the meat is and product that comes from the animals is just 9%. So my food is not based on meat. If I have grain, vegetables, and fruits, it's no problem if I have no meat. Obviously, I can. It's excellent if I have meat, and it's delicious, and it's good for my health, but it's not indispensable. My indispensable is the grain. So you organize the way you eat. Also with the portions, you eat a big portion of cereals or a big portion of grains, then some vegetables, a small portion of food, and a really small portion of either cheese or meat or any dairy or fish or whatever animal product you're eating.
Wow. So let's look at these rules of how mothers can apply these rules to achieve a happy home in their lives.
Well, that's a challenge. I'm a mother of two, and that's a big challenge.
Exactly.
I'm a mother of two and homeschooling, so it's a big challenge. Well, in the family, there's a way we can organize the family in the Nahui Olinteo. The 52% of a family is the mother. Then we have the father. Then we have the kids. And then we have the extended family. That could be uncles, aunts, or grandparents. As a mother, these sure are very good tools because you are in charge of the health of your family. So if you learn and are able to teach your children how to breathe and how to eat and how important it is to hydrate, then you are taking care of them every day. You're not waiting to have a big problem and take care of the big problem. You are taking care of your health every day. And also in the tradition, we learn techniques like massage, or we have sweat lodges. We can deal with problems also. But the best is to avoid health issues. The best is like the preventive medicine. The food is your medicine. So if you take care of that, you're taking care of your health issues every day, not when you have a problem.
So it gets to it sorts out the problem before the problem is created.
That's right. And that doesn't mean we don't get sick. We all get sick, and we have to develop tools to take care of ourselves.
It's just try to prevent, right?
Not right. To prevent. And for instance, like we are now dealing a big dangerous virus. A big way to deal with this is to keep yourself healthy every day. Of course, if we get the virus and we don't feel okay, we have to go and get attention. But if you take good care of yourself every day, that prevents of it to be a big issue in your life. Also, talking about this, one of our teachers recently died in March this year. But we were fortunate to share with him a couple of days before he died. And somebody asked him, is one of our big and admired teachers. Somebody asked him, his name was Miklanehekateo Cuautlinchan. Somebody asked him about the virus. He said, "What do you think about this?" And it was March. We were just starting with the virus in Mexico. And he said, "We are all going to die. That's for sure, because we're already here. And that's certain for everybody. We are already here, so we are all going to die. We can die today because of an accident. We can get this virus or any other virus. We can get a bacteria. We can get to live more than 100 years. And also we're going to die. There's no other way. That's for sure." But what he said, do we want to live afraid? We are already here. Do we really want to live in fear? He said, I guess it's not worth it. We're already here. Let's be here plenty. Let's be here 100%, not be here with fear. Because living with fear, you're not able to be 100%. You're not here. You're in the past. You're not here. If you are able to deal with the fear, we all can have fear at some point, but we don't want to get stuck in fear. And that's very important, because your emotions also are part of your health. You have to have a balance in your emotions. We all have experienced fear, but we cannot just get stuck in fear. We have to move through the emotions and get different emotions to balance our emotional, because our emotional can also get us sick. And also he said, if we are afraid, we are easy to manipulate, for other people to manipulate us.
Of course.
So we have to move from that emotions and try to balance and try to enjoy that we are already here, because we're all going to die. And it's not of no use to be afraid right now about that. So I take that as a very, very important last teaching I received from my teacher.
Beautiful. Because that really teaches you, because to remove the fear. And this is what I'm really getting into Tezcatlipoca. I could see how I would transform my life with it all. So I may well do that. I think what I'm going to do is put this to the test.